Welcome back to Break the Record Live here at ESA Marathon. My name is Bowie and I'm joined by two wonderful casters from the Speedsouls community. We've got Capitan and Duck. How are you guys doing? You alright?
Pretty good. Got myself some coffee and now ready to hopefully see more runs. Right now it seems like only Old School has a run going, but I'm sure the other runners will get runs going too.
Yeah, we've got a lot of resetting going on right now. But yes, welcome back to Break the Record Live. We're currently playing Dark Souls Remastered and we're running the All Bosses category. So yeah, we have 7 runners who are vying for a lovely share of a $5,000 prize pool, courtesy of our sponsor Kaspersky. So thank you very much to them. We've got these 7-way dynamic view and really celebrating the process of speedrunning in that grind phase, because we only usually tend to see the finished product of a PB and never really get to see the effort that goes into it. So this 3-day marathon time trial event is a good way to showcase a community's efforts to really break that record. Should be announced that we did have a record broken this time around. Yesterday, Catalyst beating his 1:02:34 with a 1:02:30. So congratulations to them. But we are still have got 1 day left to go. We'll see if any of these runners, specifically maybe Old School, Danflesh, Nax, those 3 runners really put the pressure on Catalyst, who has now started runs himself today. But as was mentioned by Capitan, we're having a lot of reset going. But Old School on the Hydra.
Looks like Hydra. Has he got one more? Or is that? Yeah, he gets this.
Nice.
Nice. You're always listening for that that hit sound on the last cast, because already turned away, got moving, both for save time and of course style points, I guess.
Yeah, quite an imposing boss is the Hydra, but the build that our runners are going to be going for is going to be very, very strong. I mean, if you just joined us and maybe don't quite know how this run's going to go, I believe the route is called the Grapple Mage build, and it allows us to kind of like there's the usage of a very particular glitch that allows us to dupe soul items to gain a tremendous amount of souls to kind of level up into kind of like an intelligence focused build with a few extra stats to enhance the DPS. If either of you guys want to kind of go into the full details of that build and kind of to kind of explain how the bosses go down so quickly.
You do a lot of damage, and bosses die quickly if you do a lot of damage. No.
I mean, to be fair, you're right. You're not wrong.
The build of like Sorcerer for all bosses, that's like it's kind of like a really old build that's just come back because it's gotten a lot quicker to set it up. Like in other routes, you'd have to do a lot of duping or a lot of extra leveling and things to try and get the levels you need for this. But with the pocket frampt or the generally, I think a lot of people know it as like the brightness dupe, which is actually only just one way of doing it. But
yeah,
it lets you get all the souls you need really early on, and actually being able to get quite so many levels allows us to do like a few extra skips that we couldn't do before, which is what's ended up making Magic sort of the route again.
Yeah.
Kind of again. I mean, it was the route in the original release way back.
Until 2016, something like that.
Yeah.
That's 5-year difference.
Centuries ago.
Yes. And you'll see just how strong the Magic build is here. So we're going to have a cast of homing Soul Mass into, I believe, an immediate Soul Spear, and it'll you can just see it completely wipe away the butterfly.
This is one of the fights you always miss if you go to like a Prepare to Die route or something. It's like you got to cast, was it like 5 or 6? I think it's 5 great heavy soul arrows, but at like base dexterity, so they're you're sort of committed pretty hard when you go for a cast, and butterfly can actually can catch you out. It's like dying to butterfly in like the Prepare to Die routes is not too shameful.
Yeah.
Looking around as well, we're seeing everyone's still, as we were mentioning, kind of stuck in that beginning 5 minutes of the run, where it kind of like the run hits the point when our runners use the pocket frampt or the brightness dupe to kind of get that 8 million souls in order to, you know, buff themselves up to the level that they're gonna be. There is a little bit more variability in terms of how that they approach things, especially at the very beginning when they don't have any major magic. You know, using we just have, you can see if you look over at Danflesh's feed right now, the right hand weapon glowing with that electric after using the gold pine resin just to kind of increase damage by about 150 is going to be a good way to kind of like burst through early fights until you know, these other options are available, which is a huge disparity between how the early fights are done versus like the second half, or I guess the end of the first half and onwards.
Yeah, Dan getting unlucky with Hollow Room again.
Yeah.
As I say that.
The theme, I think, at this point.
Yeah, there used to be, like in any percent, you used to have routes where you had to go through Hollow Room in RTSR range, so below 20% HP.
Yeah.
That was not the greatest.
Good old days.
As this is an RPG as well, I mean, it's kind of, I think when it comes to speedrunning, I mentioned this a couple of days ago, but there's a nice thing to come back to about how, you know, statistics are a big part of this. You know, there is a mathematic part of RPG speedruns, and you know, going back to the whole build idea as well, how, you know, building stats is only up to like a certain point and not necessarily, you know, when you want to just dump it all into just sheer damage, but also understanding how many like attacks you'll have to get off onto a boss in order to kind of like fight it, and how best to kind of get as many charges done and done as possible. That said, a difficult gargoyles fight for Dan. I'm pretty sure I heard you you guys like whispering.
He got hit a couple of times, and a couple too many times, I guess. Well,
it's not. Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like it's not the most like complex thing, but it's like, I think those complex, they're quite straightforward fights, but they can kind of roll out of hand quite quickly.
Yeah, it's like if it starts well, it can be really good, and if it doesn't start well, it can be just, you know, it's just chaos.
Yeah.
Especially when the second gargoyle spawns.
It's kind of like ONS, you want to clear, you know, one gargoyle before the other one comes out, because as soon as both of them are attacking you, it's much more difficult to control anything, especially with the bandit knife, which doesn't stagger gargoyles, so you're, you know, to the mercy of the attacks.
Yeah, there was one, if right back at the beginning of the event, you saw a lot of people for the no reset run bought the scimitar, which does just make that fight like much more
so good.
It's a really nice fight because it's a 3-hit stagger, and so you can basically get like 2 hits, and you wait a second, then you stagger, get 2 more hits, and then as soon as the gargoyle's about to do anything, you just stagger, and that's pretty much the fight. Whereas with the bandit knife, you're mostly relying on the resin for damage and the attack speed, but also you're trying to get a bleed. I think you get a bleed on the gargoyles. So
yeah, if the fight goes well. If it doesn't,
then you don't.
Bleed is something that builds as you hit, but it's also decrements all the time. So if you stop attacking, then the bleeds will go down, and eventually you just don't get the bleed bonus at all.
Yeah, you also see a similar sort of effect with stagger, like on Ornstein's Smo. Like, Ornstein will stagger after your second soul arrow hits, but only if it hits like quickly.
Yeah.
So you do like a heavy and then one great, and he should stagger, which should generally give you enough time to get the last cast off. He can sometimes escape anyway, because why not?
Definitely seen that. Yeah.
Like
Crystal
jump
caves.
from
Go
So
ahead.
there's one thing you can do for the remaster, and also could do that. I'm personally not a fan of doing that because I play so much of the original that I think it's weird looking. But you can change the scaling of the UI, so the UI is a bit smaller. You can't do that in the original, but the advantage of doing that when you do full control skip is that the menu doesn't cover the screen, so it's only on the top right. So you can see very clearly your character, and it's really easier to time the quit outs.
Yeah. Hidden body cast here just to get past these enemies so they don't follow you around into the fight as well, which is kind of annoying. Seath is an interesting fight because like you'll see the fighters will turn around and just fire off a shot behind them just to kind of break a crystal which slowly recovers Seath's health during the fight. So getting rid of that just means you can burst this guy down. 5 soul arrow shots.
But it doesn't slowly recover him. He's literally invincible as long as you don't hit the crystal. But yeah, it's kind of fun to think about, like from a lore point of view, that the crystal that makes him invincible is so conveniently just like in the fight. You would think that he would like protect that crystal a bit more carefully, but
yeah, shouldn't be on the opposite side of the arena to him. But
yeah, behind like 4 cages and 25 guards, but no, it's just like there.
He probably shouldn't destroy it himself either.
Yeah, there is a strat, like you can, if you, I don't really like, if you don't have anything to throw at the crystal, you could just stand next to the crystal and see it will come closer, and then he tries to kill you, and the attack just hits the crystal, so he can destroy the crystal himself, which is even funnier.
It's an all achievements strat.
Yeah,
because you've got to cut the tail, and to get behind him is really difficult. Can be kind of painful, but if you do that, then you just as he's about to attack, you can run behind him and he'll just destroy the crystal, and that makes it really easy. It's kind of convenient, but also protect this crystal, it gives me immortality, just destroy it.
We've got the Sif fight coming out as well for Old School. Yeah. We're keeping our eyes on him just as everyone's kind of still stuck in the beginning of the run, so it's nice to kind of see this stuff. About 5 seconds rather, for Old School to save here, and Sif should it go well. RTSR setup is nice.
I'm surprised to see that homing Soulmass has no issue in the remaster for Sif, like for the turnaround.
Yeah, you don't have to do the sort of side entry to the fight to keep it. You can just run straight in.
Because in the original, if you go straight, as your character turns around for the after the cutscene, the soul mass will also try to turn around, and for some reason in the original they break, like they disappear. I'm not sure if all of them disappear, but yeah. So in the original, you have to like come at an angle to be sure that doesn't happen, and it's kind of fun because it's the type of things that if I were to run the remaster, I would do without ever knowing that you don't need to do it. Yeah. It's like when you were mentioning the fact that you don't need to pause when you fight Pinwheel to get rid of the kindling message in the remaster. But I never knew that because the only times I speedrun the remaster, I just assumed that it worked the same way. And
yeah, I think everyone who'd done Prepare to Die just opened the menu. So no one saw it until like new runners started doing it. And
yeah, I think
open the menu, I guess, because they like I saw it on Oldschool's runs first.
Yeah.
I mean, others probably did it as well, but that was where I noticed it. I was like, hang on, you didn't open the menu and didn't get the thing. What's going on? And then I sort of tested it, and it's like, oh, for whatever reason, loading the DLC.
Is it just loading the DLC that does that?
Yeah, I think so, because I just went for the Hydra arena and then warped myself there and then tried it, and yeah, you don't get the message anymore.
So weird. So that means that they changed that, right?
Something to do with the changes related to PvP, I guess. I don't know why, but that seems to be... Like, must be something, because that's like one of the main things they changed.
Some Polish magic.
Speaking of DLC, we're jumping into that now for Old Coup, Sanctuary Guardian to begin with.
Okay, lightning, not ideal.
Not too bad if he does it only once, or jump back, that's not... Okay,
that's alright.
That's pretty good. He should be dead now.
Yeah,
okay. So it's completely fine to not get perfect opening because he needs to run out of the arena anyways. And so the time he spends just waiting for good attacks, he just walks away at the same time. So here he pretty much didn't lose any time.
Yeah, the left side can get a bit scary, but it is fast, so...
Yeah. The problem with left side is sometimes Guardian just sprint at you, he hugs you, and then start doing melee attacks. Melee attacks that you usually don't need to roll, but if he sprints in your face, then you do need to roll. It's kind of weird.
Sorry, I was just looking at Dan's Gargoyle's fight. Even was a bit interesting. The second gargoyle was just sort of walking sideways, and he was just attacking it in the face.
Ah, nice.
Don't see that.
Save some time there though. So after the last one, managed to get past that. As a quick point with Old School as well, obviously you can see he's plus almost 40 seconds here. I think the reason he was wanting to keep this up is because in the event PB that he has, had a pretty unfortunate gaping dragon split, I believe. If I remember rightly, he failed to get the clip through, so had to kind of like run down normally down to gaping dragon, and hemorrhaged time.
he got an infinite fall, I think. Like when he fought Capra Demon, he turned around at the end of the fight, which has a chance of causing it so that when you load back in, you just fall off the railing, which is unfortunate.
Forced him to do that normally.
Then he did it again, I think.
Wait, are you saying that the game can keep your facing, like change your facing position?
This seems to have been our experience of it, because there were people who got this like infinite fall all the time, like quite a lot, and I think they all turned around afterwards.
Yeah.
And if you keep just facing Capra, I'd never had it. And there were a few others who never had it.
Yeah, but that's what I mean, because if you turn around after the put out, you can be facing
your direction, which is really weird, but that seemed to have some effect at least.
Yeah, some memories with maybe it's about the fact that the game, because it takes 4 frames for the game to update your position, right? But I think it still does like kind of update ish, like a tiny bit. Like I know in Gadget, if you we have a program to like watch some information from the memory and stuff, which is very useful for practicing and testing glitches. I think you can see the position actually move a tiny bit. So maybe it updates like the angle for like a very slight.
Possible. Sure. Do some more testing on it, but that's been like my understanding of what causes the infinite fall is if you face towards the fog gate at the end, you're more likely to get it. Whereas if you stay facing towards Capra, you don't. Generally, that's been my impression, because like the only times I've seen it happen to people when they did that. Okay, so Olsku doing Calamite.
Yeah.
Like the big basically the big strat that made Magic the root, I guess, is this fight.
Yeah, that's the big time save over.
There's like some small other time saves, but there's also big time losses for Magic. But this fight sort of counters most of that.
Yeah, I'm not sure if in terms of fights you have any benefits from BKH.
I think there's stuff like if you get like a good Artorias fight with Magic, I don't think BKH can be that fast. Like when you get one without him even buffing.
Yeah, I don't think BKH saves like maybe. I think BKH would more be consistency in the early game. I think it would have, especially getting past ONS would be way more consistent. But
better ONS, although how much faster I don't know, because it's still like you can't stagger lock Smo, so that's still
so I don't think
fun.
It would be much faster. So
but it's like I think the later fights.
Yeah.
Like you generally, I'm pretty sure you save quite a lot. Fights like Sif are really quick if they go well.
Butterfly is also a problem.
Yeah.
And I think so the only thing left really for BKH is the fact that you don't pick up the Crown of Dusk, I suppose.
You don't pick up the Crown of Dusk, and you don't have to free Logan.
Yeah.
Those are the sort of big saves.
Because you still free Griggs.
Yeah, you probably would if you gonna do the Golden Foggate skip. I mean, I haven't seen anyone do the Seam Walk version with any kind of consistency.
Yeah.
We've got a...
Talking about consistency, even though Oldschool's run is fairly behind, he's been keeping a steady... Yeah, like his best possible time pretty much didn't move since like quite a few splits. So...
Yeah, he's been like slightly ahead of his splits, but only like gaining like a second here.
Yeah, I believe his gold had a couple of good. I think one good cycle from Calamite. So yeah, there's about 10 seconds there, I think. But unfortunately, I think it had the more common RNG of the longer cycles flying behind the mountain. So didn't get that full bit there. But coming to the end of the DLC, going to grab the Dark Bead and then obviously take on Manus.
Yeah.
And then kind of back to the regular thing, 4 kings into Priscilla Gwendolyn. At this point, I think it's probably worth having a little look if there's anyone else who want to watch. We have Catalyst going towards ONS. If you wanted to watch that, we've got Sen's Fortress right now as well.
Oh, Antius
Oh, where
just died to a fall, I think.
In the rafters? Was he in the rafters?
It looked
Yeah.
like, yeah. Let's watch the Manus fight, and then we'll see. Because at that point, someone might be going into another boss.
I really like how he free aimed for the Dark Beat pickup as well.
Yeah, I saw that.
It's just like mouse and keyboard is so like it kind of makes you want to try to speedrun this game with mouse and keyboard.
Oh, it's really weird trying to do the menuing that you're so used to, though.
Yeah,
It's like switching to like a different, like a PlayStation controller or Xbox controller, where the D-pad is in the opposite place, and you've got like muscle memory for how you do this menu, and your thumb just goes to a D-pad that doesn't exist.
Okay, Manus.
Yeah, that was really nice behavior. That was really nice behavior.
Not gonna complain about that. I guess. Yeah, so that should be okay. Not a goal, but that's kind of fun how some bosses can just not do anything.
Manus can just keep walking sideways, and you can just keep casting. It's pretty nice. Nice feature of the magic route.
I'm not sure if we got any AFK bosses in the event yet. Maybe that doesn't happen that much in the remaster.
I'm trying to think like which ones. I mean,
like ONS.
Yeah, I think we had an AFK ONS. Someone had one.
Okay.
Like where they just stood still at the start of the fight. It might have been Kata. I can't remember who it was.
Yeah, some bosses can do that sometimes. They just don't attack at all for the. But I'm not talking about like Manus doing sidewalks, because that's somehow normal. Yeah. It's just rare. But sometimes you get bosses just not do anything for like 2-3 seconds at the start of the fight.
And that's not because we skipped their fog gate. Like with Capra, who does just stand there and not do anything. But
oh yeah, that's different. Yeah, that's Capra.
Because the boss trigger is. I think you can do it on Capra though. Like you can get AFK, can't you?
I think so. Yeah, which is very annoying when you do melee routes. Because like the point of Capra coming towards you is that you don't have to go back and aggro some of the dogs in the back. But yeah, I've seen like when at some point I was doing all achievements with the melee routes, and the fight was really clutch because I was doing it very early. And so if you get AFK Capra, it's really bad.
So some quick updates. Gentov has come online. He's going to do a little bit of practice as we have the Four Kings happening from Oldsku. I think that was kind of interesting with Oldsku as well, is that his current PB, or the event PB, the 103.11, he had a 39.39 DLC, which is very good. So still pretty good pace here.
No, I think I don't know why he's not going for RIP.
Never mind. That's a death. And probably the end of it for him. Let's go to
Kata, who's just entering ONS. Yeah, that's unfortunate for Kings when you get the match.
Oh, that's an unfortunate.
It's an unfortunate
he
ONS.
He cancelled the dash. He just didn't do it. And
look gosh, is he still in it? No, I think he's not.
I think he's still in it technically.
I think Kata's
just look at that. He's Kata's not even going to try.
Yeah, nice start there. Another
Kata's just gonna probably there you
go.
Yeah. Oh my god, that's
All right.
Okay, back to reset hell then for those. Iron Boy taking a bit of a quick break as well on the side. Another reset for Mintius, and that means we have Danflesh as our current furthest runner.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll jump away from Kata just quickly to watch Danflesh do his segment as well. Making some solid progress, it seems. Lost a bit of time to Golem and Sen's Fortress overall. But still 13-4-49 is a pretty solid time.
Yeah, I didn't see if that was like hollow RNG or if something happened at the Logan Wall break, because the Golem fight is pretty consistent, so it's usually some other thing in the split. One thing you sort of that's always a kind of annoying to do is because you do this the air rolls into the skip, you have to be in mid roll, but when you're actually running, you run faster if you're in fast roll, so you have to Dan.
Oh god.
Okay.
Remove is where I was at when he got hit, but yeah.
Yeah, we had that's not the first time we've seen that this weekend either. We've seen that happen a couple of times. An interesting outcome.
I do not like this version of the skip at all. It's
compared
not nice.
to what version?
The old one with the plunge.
The what's the big difference? The camera?
Oh, just the enemies.
What? I mean, you still have the gargoyle as well,
No.
right?
No, the gargoyle's not there. No one's there. It's peaceful.
Oh, is it not there because when you're inside the building, they're not loaded or something?
Yeah, the gargoyle's not loaded. None of the enemies outside the building seem to be loaded.
Oh,
so it's
I never
like,
noticed because I don't think I've ever done the new version. So
yeah, the old one, like everything isn't there, and it's really comfy. And then the new one is just the opposite. It's like you had to run further in the old one, but yeah, it was comfy. But sadly, it's also like, I don't know, probably about 10 seconds slower or something. It's quite, because you've got to run all the way inside the building to do a plunge attack, and then you've got to run all the way back out, and that's probably at least like 10 seconds. And actually, at that point, it's faster to do a completely different set of routing because the skip isn't saving you time anymore. Because it's like barely saving you time in this route. The main thing it does is it lets you do Gwendolyn with Darkbead.
which is quite an
nice.
upgrade.
Yeah, I mean it's like 2 soul spears early, but you need RTSR for it, so that's and it's random whether you get the RTSR setup you need. But if you do, it's still pretty fast.
Yeah. Okay, so back to the start for many of our runners. We've got a couple who are just kind of into the Undeadburg now, but we'll have a little look at Damflesh as he goes into another run. Having a bit of an unfortunate day, nothing kind of like majorly underway for them, but you know, keeping at it and consistently ahead, kind of coming out of that first like 10-15 minutes. So just got to try and see that one through.
Yeah, so it's this sort of like the Asylum is sort of a lot of small optimizations, like this wall break here to save a little bit of game time. This dark sign, it actually just lets you get to the door a bit faster than running through the gate. And actually, you only spawn at this bonfire if you make it through the gate before Asylum Demon finishes his death animation. Which is a question that comes up a lot from new runners. Is like, I killed the Asylum Demon, but why when I use the dark sign do I end up back in the cell? And that's because they didn't get through the gate quickly enough. Like, if Asylum Demon dies and then you go through the gate, when you do the dark sign, you're just back in the cell at the start. And that's not a time save anymore.
Which is why you'll kind of see like that kind of like micro movement of like they'll throw the first 3 bombs and kind of like roll towards that front left side or that back left side to kind of get there a little bit closer. You know, use the time you have in the middle of the fight to make, you know, any kind of micro movement you can, just to minimize like those windows, or to kind of maximize your window to get that kind of stuff done.
Yeah.
You see that in ONS as well because of the elevator cycle that starts from the moment they die. So you want to try and get onto that elevator. And we've seen runners miss it as well. And it's I think, as you were mentioning earlier, Capitan, about a 12-second time loss-ish at that point.
Yeah, I'm not sure I can pull that number.
Oh, I mean,
out of my hat.
Ish. You know, give or take a few. You know.
Plus or minus. It's like a 12-second time loss, plus or minus. You know, like, I don't know.
Plus or minus 12 seconds.
Yeah, I was gonna say maybe not quite 12, but yeah, maybe
probably
6.
less. Honestly, I tend to I say 12 because, well, first 12, funny,
12,
but
yeah.
also when you run and you get that, it feels like you're losing like 2 minutes. Like, it feels so bad that, you know,
anywhere where you're just waiting, you know,
Yeah.
and like you've made the mistake already. Now you just have to, you know, pay the penalty in time while you wait for the game to let you continue, kind of thing.
Speaking of letting continue, oh, never mind. I was just gonna say, Catalyst just gets bodied by Hellkite there. So yeah,
I think we just saw Mintius get past Hellkite and
oh my god, his face is like.
It can be, yeah. I mean, when you have those things where it's like, you know, it's just a wall, you know, one of those run killers. I mean, not that at that early in the run, it's the run, but it is a run killer kind of thing.
We tried to take it out, but not been successful. I think Olsku did some timing of like a route that went to the merchant and did the boxes skip, which would mean instead you reset the boxes, but which is a lower undead berg skip that uses some very breakable boxes. If you break them, you got to restart. But it was still slower than just doing the firebomb snipe and the jump, especially where the jump is now. It was slower than the older version, which I think you still see Iron Boy goes for. Where you quit out before you throw the bombs, and then you run back to the little stairs before the fog gate to do the jump there, rather than doing the jump like ahead of where you threw the bombs. That's kind of new, I guess. I mean, it was probably known about before, but it wasn't used in runs.
Yeah,
I mean, because there's like 101 ways into Lower Undead Berg.
Keeping an eye on Mintius's gargoyle fight. They get the first one down just as the second one spawns, so should be quite straightforward from here. Currently, what I want to say about 13 seconds behind.
Don't say that. Okay.
I was just saying that it's currently 13
got
seconds
hit
behind.
As you're saying it, yeah.
We're gonna have a look at how much time difference that is for them there after that one. Looks like roughly the same actually, about 13 seconds behind PB. Yeah, it's kind of hard to kind of work out with Mintius because he is comparing against his summer best, so it's kind of a bit of a fun one. A pretty solid looking summer best from Mintius as well.
See, Dan is just doing the lower undead berg skip we were talking about, and you see all this massive list of item pop-ups. That's all from the undead merchant who you threw the bombs at, and actually the list is longer in remaster as well, so it covers even more of your screen. Than it did in the original release, because they've added the what is it, the dried finger or something?
Yeah, right. It's like a PvP thing or something.
Yeah, which you used to get, like, I don't know, did you get it in the painted world or something? But now it's the merchant has it, and that gets dropped into your inventory. So your screen is just completely covered up as you're trying to do this jump. Which is like not ideal, but you get used to it.
I'm respecting the approach right now from Gentov, just going through some particularly tricky and very specific boss fights. Making sure he's got all of those ones down before attempting the run. You don't want to kind of start putting time into these runs and then finding that you're struggling with these particular bosses. So he's been working on Artorias and Manus, and now just trying the Four Kings.
One King. Yeah, he's already quit out because I think he missed too many beats.
Yeah, I think that's what he was. Yeah, I think it's all about the positioning and the timing after you get that first hit in to get the subsequent 3 hits that you're trying to find.
Yeah, it's a bit of a balancing act. It's interesting. I had initially thought that you couldn't get like the third cast off, because doing it like you were doing Prepare to Die, you stand right next to the king and you cast 3 times, and the third one in remaster just sails straight through. But Master 876 was running all achievements, and that doesn't have Dark Bead, but it has Soul Spear, and he was getting the extra hit in. I was like, well, the spell cast time isn't really, different between the two. So why, if you do Soul Spear, was it working, but if you do Dark Bead, was it not? And like the difference seemed to be just. Soul Spear you cast from further away, so I tried from further away, and now it hits, but now I'm missing too many beads, and the king isn't dying, and so it was like, is there a distance that actually works? And it turns out there is, but it's really fiddly, and that's what all the runners get to experience.
Danflesh gets past Hellkite and is into the Undead Parish. Oldsku's restarting. Catalyst again going through the through the Berg. I'm just kind of interested in sticking with Danflesh for a bit, just to kind of see these early progress.
Let's get through gargoyles, and then we can see, because at that point Mintius will probably be heading towards Iron Golem, and we can see what's happening there. Yeah, the gargoyle segment it's tough. Like there's a lot to get through. And this is another fight which would be really nice to have the BKH
God.
for, I suppose.
The Boulder Knight just not doing anything.
Yeah. Well done.
Hollow room.
Right, he's gonna have to do the kill and hope he doesn't get hit. Yeah. Alright, made it through Hollow Room, as long as he doesn't get sniped.
One of those little bits of RNG that can come into play is how those hollows behave on the way through.
There's a rare snipe you can get where the channeler can snipe you while you're on the ladder.
Oh, that's like super rare, yeah. But that can happen.
Yeah.
And of course it did happen to me when I was doing an RTSR route, so, you know.
The gargoyle jumped, so didn't get hit by the
didn't get
fireball.
the hit, but did get the early tail cut. And at least, yeah, the gargoyle is not moving towards where the second one's going to spoke too soon. Fly up. Okay, but I think we're alright.
First one's down, nice and easy. Fire breath, good.
It's not, as we said, in this route, it's not too bad that you're so far away from the exit, because you just Dark Zone. And then...
Gosh. Yeah. 620, pretty good. I think some of the faster times we've been seeing, you know, at this point. I mean, we're going to be I'll keep an eye on the catalyst for it at least. But you know, that 610 kind of time is where we want to see.
Yeah, we can look at catalyst. Dan's doing the RTSR run, which is like just a long running segment, unless we want to grade valley jumps.
It's up to you guys. We will also have Minty doing Sense Fortress as well if you want to check.
Let's switch to Kata.
Yeah, he's going into the fight, which
I'll keep an eye on the valley jump.
Yeah. Mintius having to back up with the snake though. He didn't get the. Oh gosh, quit out, please, quit out. Yeah. He had two snakes on him.
Let's see that, Dan.
Really not what you want. Okay, got the nice.
That's
okay.
6 out of 10.
Acceptable, but not good.
Yeah.
Fire breath again. Nice for Kata.
Can do better. Stay behind after class.
Nice.
It's really good. 612.
Yeah, that was good. Gargoyles. Yeah, saved a bit of time.
You got the firebomb hit, which obviously knocks the gargoyle forward to you in like a bit of a stun, and then I think he went for like a really like wide-angled stab and kind of completely whiffed. So it was easy for Kata to burn the first one down, and then the second one gave him fire breath, which is just an easy evade and 6-hit punish. So. Yeah, nice finish. Kata going for the soul dupe to grab himself 80,000 souls.
Yeah, just casual 80,000 souls. You know.
Easy.
No biggie.
Yeah, this is the RTSR. So RTSR stands for Red Tier Stone Ring. What this does is when you equip it, if your HP goes below, whilst your HP is below, it's not. If it happens once and you heal, it's gone again. I'm pretty sure. But like when your HP is below 20%, you get a 50% damage increase.
That's better.
Yeah. What are we saying? What are we saying? Is that like an 8 or?
They still touch the wall.
So, so
7.
7 tops. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. The Red Tier Stone Ring is very integral to the run in general, and yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, the Red Tier Stone Ring is like the one biggest damage buff you have. And it's why a lot of the run is based around like how do I set up Red Tier Stone Ring without losing time? You know, what's the quickest way I can get this buff? There's some fights where it's like it's just not worth it. Like you'll see anything that can be one shot without it, you generally don't bother setting up the. You don't need the overkill. And some others like Quelag, where it's just like slower to set it up than it is to cast Dark Bead one more time.
Yeah, and I mean that's kind of interesting as well. Like it's not worth spending extra time going for it, as you mentioned. Like Kata did that in his record, didn't get the RTSR set up for the final boss and win, and just went for the 3 Dark Bead fight instead.
What's going on in Mintius? I just saw him fall over. Did he get hit by Firestorm or something? Like the fire? Yeah, something went wrong in his Golem fight.
Yeah, that's a
reset.
Reset
that. I don't know what happened, but I saw him on the ground. I was like, oh, something's not right.
So that first soul dupe as well that Kata does allows him to buy it. All of like I believe the catalyst and all of the spells that we're going to be using at the beginning, I believe. Great heavy soul arrow and great soul arrow are the main 2 in terms of DPS.
Yeah, those
do
are
another.
the best spells you can get at this point. Anything stronger, you have to wait for Logan, who's in Sen's Fortress, unfortunately, and won't sell you spells while he's there, which is just mean, you know.
I find this like an interesting part of the run as well. As kind of earlier, I think in the week we saw Iron Boy doing a markedly different route in terms of like how he'd go about and fight certain ones. And essentially, I believe he did Stray Demon a lot later than others at the start. I believe, and then he kind of like brought it. Or it's either that or Gargoyles later. But essentially, it's kind of like you need to do certain boss fights in order to move Logan from Sen's Fortress over to Fire the Drone. In order to get that.
Yeah, so yeah, he left Gargoyles for later, which allowed him to just use Gargoyles to move Logan. Whereas most of the routes will use Stray Demon, as he's like he's the sort of simplest boss that you can do, and one of the fastest, like probably the fastest. It's between Stray Demon and Capra and Gaping. All of the others would lose you too much time.
Such a weird concept. How like to move Logan? It's so convoluted.
Yeah, like initially it was sort of like, you know, oh, he'll move when you go to the Lord Vessel or something, but that's just like because going to the Lord Vessel does the same thing as all these other circumstances. Like it's just you have to load another area directly from Firelink. You can't just warp. Which is unfortunate. That would, if you could just warp, it would make it really easy, and we wouldn't have to do Stray Demon so early.
Yeah, it makes you wonder why it was coded like this. Like it's.
Yeah, it's. I guess because it must be triggered like when you load another area, but it's only triggered if Firelink is loaded because that's where Logan is or something. It must be something like that.
I guess the reasoning was that you just walk away from.
Yeah.
So they do something when you walk away.
Yeah, I guess so. It's just an interesting one. Hang on, I just.
Nice jump from Kara here. Got the strats working. This is real. Like this strat is really nice. Like Grapple Mage got so much more consistent in the early game. Like Grapple Mage has a kind of a bad reputation for runners. Like even still with all of this, you know, you still have like bad fights like ONS and stuff. But it used to be so much worse because you had to do like before you had Sense Gate Skip, for example, in 2015 when the old Grapple Mage was done, you had to do Quillag as well. Which can be very annoying to do. Like you had to stagger her with Great Heavy Soul Arrow, with Great Soul Arrow, which is super annoying to do. You had like the Drake's RNG, you had the Snake RNG in Sense, and then you had ONS as well.
Yeah.
And with less damage, right? It was I think it was 5 hits because you had less damage. Maybe
ONS,
I'm not sure.
It depends which route. I think like the
very old one. I mean,
very old one was probably 4 for Ornstein, I would guess. I mean, that's what it was in the last route of this before the new dupe was found.
Oh, okay. So probably 4.
Like
then,
when I did my last run of Grapple with the Framp duping, but with Sense Gate Skip, it was 4 casts for Ornstein, which was really annoying. Because like you'd get like, oh wait, 4? Yeah, because you get the 3 and you get the heavy, then you get the stagger, then you get the next one, and then he'd dodge around for ages as you try to get the last hit in, you know.
Indeed. Just quickly say, I know we're running into the Iron Golem fight now, but we do need to take a very, very short break right now. And when we come back, we'll be able to see Catalyst and Danfish as well get into their ONS split as they're kind of coming up to the end of the Iron Golem one. So yeah, we'll just be 3 minutes. So not too long at all. Don't go anywhere. I mean, unless you're going to stretch your legs, grab a drink, most important thing. You know, just keep yourself active whilst watching these. There is a lot of action going on, but don't worry, we'll try and get as much of it to you as possible. But yeah, as I say, 3-minute ad break. When we come back, you get to see more of Break the Record Live with Dark Souls Remastered. So don't go anywhere, and we'll see you in just a few. Thanks.